What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Black Saber here. And today I'm going to be going over should you play Arknight's Enfield. Now I will I will go ahead and apologize. I got sick yesterday. To be fair, it was my fault, but I'm not going to get into it. So I do apologize for uh sounding raspy and if I tend to sniffle a lot during this video. But I am going to do I ain't going to, yap your ear off or like anything like that. This is gonna be a simple, quick and easy video on should you get into Arknight's Enfield. Now, the immediate answer is yes, and the reason why I say yes is due to the fact that, for one, like playing any game, right? Like you're never going to know unless like you truly play for it yourself. Even if you go and watch one of those videos on like should you play this, should you play that? At the end of the day, like a game is going to be fun to someone. You know, like a lot of people like COD, but there are people that don't like COD. A lot of people like Fortnite, and there's a lot of people. Well, honestly, I don't know because I feel like everyone and their mama likes Fortnite. To be honest, um, so it's one of those things where it's like at the end of the day, like if you truly want to like get the feel for something, like like just play it, even if it's for like 10 minutes, 20, 30, an hour. But to be honest, if it's like if you're at an hour, you might as well just go ahead and keep playing it. But and the reason why I say it is because one thing about Arknights, right? Yes, it is a gotcha game, but as you can see, like right now, I'm doing, I'm just in my factory, just chilling, just doing some things here and there. It's definitely different in the sense of like most gotcha games. It's usually just the typical, hey, summon for these characters, grind them up, beat these events, rada rada rada, so on and so forth. But here, it's like, hey, pull for a character, do the story, do some events here and there, and then clock in for your shift at your factory because like you're gonna start doing some work. And one thing I will say, because I do know that, um, to some people, like the factory's mechanic and like system overall is a lot. I know when they first introduced it, like they just kind of like throw it in your face and slap it there. And so even the devs themselves like knew that this would be like kind of a little pickle for people because they have a whole feature where like if you have someone's code, you'd be like, hey, you can go type this in, and you can copy their blueprints, regardless if it's for like this thing, for like batteries, medicine, components, so on and so forth. So the devs themselves, they knew that people like would honestly probably struggle, or they did it in the sense of like they didn't want to lose players because the factory is like pretty much the backbone of the game. Like you have to craft something in some way, shape, or form. Like you know, to grind out your characters, like you're going to have to like get into the factory. Like there's literally no other way around it, especially for making the most important gear in the game, which is gold gear. Um, like in order to get it, you gotta get your sand leaves. And by the way, sand leaves like once you, because you won't start getting sand leaves till pretty much like end game, like in the valley. Once you start seeing Sandleaf, grab every single one because Sandleaf is literally like the GOAT due to the fact of like how important it is for gold gear. Like, I kid you not, Sandleaf can literally be used to because for gold gear, the main two like biggest things that you're going to need is Sandleaf powder and then carbon powder. But the thing is, there's two ways to make carbon. You can either use buckleaf or sandleaf. So sandleaf, it's pretty much a double whammy. You need sandleaf for this, but you can also use it for that. So it's like, if you got no buck flower, but like you got hella sandleaf, you can just use it for that, which is pretty nice. um, and I will say, like, in terms of just the game time consuming, the only thing I can say that's heavily time consuming, or unless, well, I mean, obviously if you're lucky, it's not really, is grinding essence. Because obviously, it being a gotcha game, every gotcha game has RNG in some way, shape, or form. And so, obviously, doing essence runs, which essence is like
The slightest
it's
slip of
pretty
mind
much
decides
what's like the equivalent to
and
essence.
who dies in
I mean, essence is just your typical like, gear that give you more stats on the weapon. I'm trying to think of a game where it's like similar in the way to like compare it. Uh, I kind of think of like um if any of you are familiar with like Zenless, you have the W engine. The W engine, you add it to the character, and then it gives stats, and then obviously if it's their signature W engine, they get uh buffs to like their specific skills and stuff like that. So I kind of think of it like as in this sense, but like for weapons, not more so like the character. Even though like this boosts like because on here I don't have a good one yet for him. I only have this. This like this is gonna have to do till then. But um, right now I only have it buffing his agility, his physical damage boost. So pretty much just like think of like rather because on Zenless, when you get the W engine, like you're putting it like on the character, but in here the essence is going like on the weapon, and then like you're getting buffs and stats for like whichever stat that you wanted to go towards. But yeah, like I said, that's pretty much the because yeah, like that outside of that, pretty much everything else is just kind of like just play the game, and but yeah, that's the only really like RNG one that I want to say time consuming due to the fact that the game does have a mechanic where you can feed pretty much the crappy essence into the essence you do have to raise the level on whichever stat that is amplifying. Um, and the factory, like I'm gonna just be honest, if you have like a good layout and understanding of the factory and how things work, you can literally set it up to where it just runs itself. The only thing where you'll have to like come in. It's like obviously check if things are like clogged, but usually if something's clogged, it's because there's too much like going like into something. So like for me, like right, like this will happen like every now and then, but it's only just because like I just whoa, why is it? Oh, we're gonna do that so that way. But no. But yeah, and also like check for clogs because if something's clogged, obviously it's not going to like it's just going to like shut off. It's not going to keep producing whatever you have going on. So you definitely want to make sure things are fully properly working. And then most of the time, like plus you can also look at clog being a good thing. Be like, oh well, at least I have like a lot of a lot of materials. Because like right now I got my batteries over here. Um, just like and like I said, like once to see how all this is just like doing itself, and then I have it set up to where like, hey, it comes over here, and then boom. So pretty much everything is just like it's like a factory. Like once you get things set up, you'll just have in a way of like, well, if I'm at work or if I'm at school or if I'm like doing something, while I'm gone, because the game's still gonna continue like even while you're not playing. So like you don't have to like have the game running or be on the game for the factory like to work or be on. Because like right now, like this, like my ruling factor right now, I I changed this like a lot because recently, like the other day actually, I got rid of everything because I was trying to like make a new setup. So like, everything's like all cattywampus and it's not more like my valley ones are more like set up properly compared to my wooling ones. But also to be fair, like the only main use I use this one for is the gold gear. So like that's the most, I mean, obviously important reason why. Especially because you need Zyronite. In order to make Zyronite, you do need water involved. Um, so in terms of time consuming, it's really not time consuming compared to other games. Like you honestly could just hop in, do your dailies, and then like I said, you can check your factories, you could check the Jane, because once you unlock the Jane, you can have things, working on in there. You can have the manufacturing cabinets where you can make XP items. Excuse me. Or you can have the growth cabinets where, you could grow materials, et cetera, et cetera. Excuse me, I don't know where these hiccups came from. And then obviously, if you have rigs on your mining beds, like there's nothing to like really do for those because like it automatically does that for you. No, yeah, out time like at times they will get clogged. So every now and then like just make sure and check. But in terms of the time consuming part, me personally, because I work from home, so obviously my schedule is different from most people. Because like I do have days where yes, I can play the game quite a bit. I do have some leeway, but most of the time, like my schedule, like I'm usually waking up at like 5 or 6 in the morning, and I'm doing work stuff for about like from 6 to like either 5, 6, 7 like in the afternoon. And so there are times where I can't truly lock in, sit down, and play the game. But on here, like like how I was talking about the plants and everything like that. And one thing I will note that I hope they add in the future, either in the next big update or something down the road. Hopefully they add a machine where it automatically picks your flowers, because this is the only thing that like you obviously want to make sure you come in and handle, because like once they're done growing, like they don't go anywhere unless like you grab them. um, and so that's why I hope like they make a machine or something to where it automatically picks like your plants and then it sends them to the depot. Because I have it set up to where like you know I pick them and then I regrow them, and then I just come to the stash right here and I just slap them in and then boom, they transfer over. But hopefully they add the machine to where like automatically picks them and they can hook it up to the protocol stash, and so that we could just go to the depot. Because like as much as I love doing this, because like I could be on my laptop, doing work stuff, and then I could pick my controller for like a few seconds, go around, pick my flowers, regrow them, send them into the stash, vice versa. So most of the time, like when I'm working, I usually have this up and running. So like I'm usually like on my laptop while I'm in the field, and then like while I'm doing work, I'll look over and be like, hey, like what's this timer at? You know, and any of them, most of them still got like a bit to grow. I could look at this one and be like, all right, I got 11 minutes, or like, one of them over there, oh, 3 seconds. Let me go ahead and like go pick those, and et cetera, et cetera. So coming from someone who's always on his laptop, I wish I wasn't, obviously. Um, and mind you, I work on like two laptops. I have to do work on like two laptops at the same time most of the time. Um, so obviously for me, even though my hands are usually always busy, I do have time like here and there to pick up and like do even something as simple as this, because this is actually like a lot of like important stuff to get done. Concerning, like I said, like for gold gear, like you're gonna need sand leaves for that. So even if you're just on the game for like a few minutes, grabbing your plants, this and that, like that's still a lot of things you're achieving, because like I said, you're gonna need them in the long run. Um, and my next point is the game easy to play. Now the combat, it's I don't know what I say. For me, like compared to other games I played, the combat at times I will say is a little cattywampus, especially the dodging. I do notice at times the dodging is a little inconsistent, and also like, bro, I need them to do something with like the like the I don't know, the AI within your characters, because whenever you're playing this game, right, all your characters like are on the screen. So if you get into combat, they're in the combat. It's not a game where it's like, hey, like switch out this character to get them on the field. Like everyone's just on the field doing something. And I personally like that better than like other games where it's like other games, you're playing and then it's like you gotta learn like proper switch outs, proper rotations, ball, this and that. On this game, like rotations don't matter necessarily too much due to the fact that like at some point like depending on what's in that character's kit, like if you proc something, like I don't know. Like for me personally, I personally believe that rotations don't matter on this game so much as like something like Wuthering Waves, where like you gotta learn like perfect rotations to like get do all this damage, blah this and that. On here, it's like you can just stay using like one character, or you can switch here and there. But at the end of the day, like there's really no point to it, in my personal opinion, due to the fact that like you know you have the skill right here. You can use all of the character's skills, and obviously, depending on like if you read, depending on like what they do, if you get something to proc or whatever the case may be, you can trigger a combo skill like Levitate, for example. If you get a certain amount of combustion proc, or even the other one is erosion. You can pop a combo skill. That's why I have Gilberta on the team. I honestly probably could switch her with someone else, but I don't. I just like playing with her, to be honest. um, so in terms of combat, like it is fun. I will say that. the bosses, like some enemies do have like they are a little tanky, I'm not gonna lie. Um Recently they had an update where they adjusted the levels. So like I'm at exploration level 7. Um and before I'm trying to remember. I want to say before they were I see I really wish I could remember because I can't even think of the numbers what they were before. But pretty much like the enemies would be like a level higher than your characters, and so they readjusted that recently because like it was one of those things where it's like you're finding characters or enemies that are like above your level, not like by a drastic much, but it was one of those things where it's like, yo, why are these enemies kind of like tanky, and like your characters aren't fully um like worked on and stuff like that. But I will say, hopefully, they kind of like fix some things because there are some characters that like are a little overly tanky, like more than they should be, to be honest. And so there are some fights that honestly kind of like will drag long. Like even for me, like this is my favorite team to use right now. I use this like for a bunch of things. Levitating is, I mean, yeah, I mean she is my favorite character. Last right would probably be second, but I love running her. She does so much damage. But even like for her, because like I like you honestly melt through boss's health like using her, to be honest. But even with her, I'm just sitting there like, yo, like I feel like this boss has got like too much health, like low key. So combat wise, like I personally give it like honestly like a solid 7 out of 10. I just wish like the character, because there are times where, because obviously you can equip medicine to your characters, which is cool, but also like I get tired of like looking down and I'm seeing like, hey, my Amber's over here fighting this character and her health is at red HP. So like, and then you can even watch it. Most of the time, like they aren't even dodging; they're just like taking a hit. So like, I don't know if like they could do something to where like the characters kind of have like a little bit of like IQ in the sense of like, hey, this person's throwing an attack at you. Like, let's say this character, like this enemy throws a haymaker at you. Like, I'm expecting my character like dodge it or something rather than like taking it full force. Um, that'd be pretty cool. The gotcha, the gotcha system is a little. How do I say this? It's very controversial right now due to the fact that like if you're on TikTok or anything or like looking up anything about this game, a lot of people don't like it due to the fact that like for one, pity doesn't carry over. It's not like other games where, hey, let me get my pity high enough on this banner so that with next banner I get my 5 star whatever rarity, fairly quick. On here it doesn't do that. But also to be fair, I think the main reason why they didn't do that is because like the dossier, for example, I just see on the bottom screen. Um, Once you do, oh, that was a good backtrack actually. Once you do enough summons, right, you can get something called a head honey dossier. And what it is anytime a new banner comes out, you get a free 10 pull. So for me, Gilberta was the last banner. I got her in my first pull, and it was on my free one. So I had all this orables like left to use. I was like, well, I guess I'm just like using, because I was trying to not like Loki. I was trying to go for Yvonne because and she's out now. But in the past minutes, you could get Yvonne like unfeatured. I wasn't lucky enough to get her, sadly. So I mainly use all of them on the Gilberta banner because I was trying to get her. Um, and so for Gilberta, I got her for free on the free 10 pool because like, and it'll let you know when it gets transferred like over to the free ticket where you can get like your free 10 pool. And there's probably like a lot of people that got the new S ring like off that. And so I think the reason like why it doesn't transfer over is that, and honestly also because like you got to take in consideration that a lot of people hate the whole, oh, you need 5,000 to do 10 pool, that's a lot. And I get it, other games to 1,600, but in terms of like if you do the proper math, this game gives out more currency than those games. Because like Wuwa, for example, not to talk about other games, but like you need 1,600 to do a temple. That's usually the norm for like most gacha games like that. But most of the time, they're hardly giving you enough to even get to that point, anyways. Rather than, because like, I kid you not, if they change the number to 1,600 on this game, you know how many people would be doing like how many people would be doing 10 pools, considering that like every time you turn around, like you're either getting like 100 orbital from completing this, or like 150 from like completing that. And when you first start the game, you're getting stuff like candy. Like when you first start the game, you literally get these missions that give you a free temple. Like you'll get one ticket, and each ticket gives you a free temple every time you do it. And it's basically this same banner, but there was a different version of it. It was literally just the same. So like for me, on that ticket banner, I got everyone on here. Ardelia didn't matter because everyone got her for free. I don't know if you still can get her because I don't know if this was just a one-time thing since the game because there was a week where if you logged in, you got her and her signature weapon for free. Now I don't know if that was just because the game just came out and they wanted everyone to have a free 6-star. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments. But yeah, and I got Last Right off of it. I got Ember off of it. I got everyone off of it except for Li Feng. Li Feng and Yvonne are the only two characters I'm missing right now in the game in itself. But then you also have like the tickets in itself. So it's like if you have a certain amount of tickets, like they reduce how much you actually need to do a 10 pull. And if you have enough tickets, you can just be like, screw it. I could do a 10 pull with tickets, or I could do a 10 pull with orbs. Like either or. Um, and most games don't even have that. Most games just flat out like, hey, if you need 1600. That's why I like games that have a ticket system because like it just makes it more realistic for players to have a better opportunity to getting something. And then one thing I love about this game, it's a flat out straight character banner. It's not like those other games where you summon and like you're getting like weapons or you'll get like, 1 4-star here and there. It's just flat out characters. And the reason why I love it is because you have this gimmick where you have the weapon banners. Now the weapon banners, like flat out, if you want to do them, like all you gotta do is just summon. That's like the simple way to put it. Excuse me, because in other games, like you need a whole separate currency. Excuse me, to summon like on the weapon banners, or you need like twice as much whatever currency in that game to do summons on the weapon banner, whatever the sig banner is for like that game. And so the reason why I say it's a good thing that it's a character only banner is because you have something called the code exchange. So the reason they have this is because they know everyone has all the 4-stars maxed out, right? So they did it in a way to where, hey, every time you do a 10 pull, you're going to get like a bunch of Estellas or a bunch of Fluorites or a bunch of what's his name, Alesh or Perlicas. Yeah, I can't think of the other ones for some reason. So the game knows that you're going to pull a lot of them, and the game knows you're going to have them fairly maxed out. So once you have them maxed out, you just trade them in, and then you have a whole plethora of things you can get. Now all these are very useful, especially these. Especially once you get your character, once you're trying to get your character to E4 and stuff like that. And then obviously you have the bond quota exchange, where you can get more, and then obviously you have an infinite amount of tickets that you can get as long as you have like a lot or whatever the character is. You can get a free one. Last time was Alesh. Yeah, he was the last one. But also I don't know the order that they're doing these in because I don't know if like I think they're only just doing like the unfeatured like 6 stars for these, to be honest. Next, no, yeah, 5 stars. I forgot. And that's another thing. Actually, the game has, 4 stars, 5 stars, and 6 stars. 6 stars are the good ones, obviously, but the 5 stars are good in themselves too. So it's like you have two rarities that both are honestly good, either or. If you have one or the other, like it's not like a big drastic difference. Obviously, you want to go for the 6 star, but like the 5 stars are still good in itself. um, and then obviously you get these like once you get a 5 star or a 6 star, and so in terms of overall, and then plus also you have the guaranteed within 90, I believe. And most games don't even have that. Most games just like, oh, like once you get to this certain amount of number, you get 50-50, which is a scam, to be honest. And I hate absolutely the idea of 50-50 because there's no point in it. So it's like being able to have a guaranteed new character within that amount of pool. Like even if you're just doing singles to get to that point, someone right now is probably like thrilled that hey, I just got Yvonne, even though I did a bunch of pulls. I didn't get her, but I got her for free because I was guaranteed to get her. Um, so with that in its aspect in itself, I think that's why they don't have it, because at the end of the day, it's like I mean, like there's no point to it, and then plus also like like I said, 50-50. The whole point of 50-50 is literally designed and to get you to spend more money. Like that's the whole point of it. Like if you actually do like research on it. So like 50-50, it's literally most games that have it are just games that want money. Like they're trying to get you to spend money. That's the whole point. The whole point is like to get you to a point where like, hey, I have a 50-50 chance to get, the new character. But you also got a 50-50 chance to get a whole bunch of other stuff that you don't want. And so like the game's literally designed in a way to like once you get it, oh you failed it. Now you gotta try to get back there again. So like most games are designed in the sense of like if they have 50-50, they want you to spend money. And if you get the new character on the 50-50, cool, that's good, that's great for you. But also like you do gotta like realize that most of the popular games right now, like the Hoyoverse games, stuff like that, they have 50-50. And like those are usually the greediest games. So like just kinda like keep that in mind. But in terms of like summoning the whole gacha system, to each its own. I personally don't have no issue with it. To others, I can see why. Both at the same time, it's like like I said, if they drop the number down to 1,600, everyone would be doing 10 pulls like a lot. Considering there's a lot of things you can do, and like you're getting more currency than what the other games are giving you, especially when you complete missions and like stories and stuff like that. So overall, I say Arknights is definitely a game to try out. Just give it a solid 20, 30, 40, 50. Like, just honestly give it an hour. Um, and if you like it, obviously, I understand. I know a game like this isn't for everybody. I completely get that. But definitely don't miss out on an opportunity of, like, hey, you could find a new game that, you honestly like because you went and watched a video of someone, bashing the game, or like you went on TikTok or YouTube and be like, hey, let me see like what's the reviews on this game. Like let me see if like it's actually like hitting and whatnot. Like just try it out for yourself. And honestly, because like for me, I play it every day whenever I have the I play it whenever I have the chance to play it. Um, I even stream it a lot. There's a lot of people that like it, and I honestly, if you get like I said, if you give the game honestly an hour, you're honestly gonna like it too. There's a lot of people that strictly play it for the factory reasons. Like I kid you not, if you go on TikTok, you're gonna see a lot of people like they fiend over the factory mode of it. Like most people haven't even like fully completed the story yet. Like I kid you not. Um, but that's my personal opinion and take on it. I hope everyone that stayed this far and watched the video enjoyed it. Leave a like down below. Leave a comment if you are a fan of the game. Like, who's your favorite character? Are you excited for anything new coming? But I'm Black Saber, and I hope everyone has a good day today.